Are you recording it video too,
I
or
record now. I usually get like maybe 5 seconds of some kind of funny blooper, but like I've never.
uh-oh, a blooper?
So I think that made the cut right there. But
Um,
hey, welcome to the podcast. You do comedy. It's been a while. I know I suck. Anyways, today we have Joli RX. She's doing a big thing online, creating like a home for a bunch of mics. There's a lot of Zoom mics out there, but she's putting a site together where everyone goes to one site and there it is. No one's asking in the groups like where the mic's at. Anyways, like and subscribe to the channel, please. If you like this video, let me know how we're doing in the comments. If you want to be on the show, let me know. Without further ado, here we go. Well, thanks for doing the show. You know, I did not think I was gonna get that many responses. I was quite overwhelmed. Not gonna lie.
yeah.
Yeah,
You posted on Displace, right?
yeah, but I mean, like I've seen sometimes like it's like not everything gets a bunch of likes and comments and stuff. So I was thinking like I'll probably get maybe 10, but I was
Right.
surprised by how many people really want to help out.
They want to help out themselves, but yeah. Yeah. Cool,
Yeah.
man. Well, thanks for reaching out. Appreciate it.
No, like I
Fun
said,
stuff.
thank you.
Yeah.
I saw a little bit of like what you were telling me what you're doing for comics, and that's great. So we'll get into that. I think that's a great topic.
Cool.
But my first interview question: you do comedy, right? Do you do comedy?
It depends who you ask.
Okay.
Yes, I
Well, I'm
do. I
asking you.
perform
You do.
stand
Okay.
up comedy. Yes. Yes, indeed, I do.
All right. How long you been doing that for?
I have been, the first time I ever performed stand up was in June of 2012. But I probably got back into it seriously maybe about 3 years ago when I
Okay.
moved to Austin. I got into it a little more. I was in Philly before, so
Okay. What was the what caused the break then? Like what was?
marriage.
Ah.
Yeah, it was part of it was marriage and like I needed to get a safe distance. I'm not married anymore.
Gotcha. Okay.
I kind of like crept back into stand up once I realized that my marriage was absurd. Like I needed comedy to help me understand the
Yeah.
issues.
I mean that makes sense. I started my comedy after my divorce too, so I guess divorce makes comedians. I guess.
Yeah, there are some common threads. At the show I run, we like there's certain traumatic common threads that a lot of us share. One of them is definitely divorce. There are also a lot of comics who used to be teachers who come to my show. Like that seems like another place where people get really fucked up.
Yeah. Yeah. Um. Yeah. There's so many common threads. You're right. Just trauma in general, I guess.
Yeah. Yeah. In writing, like, it helps you get a healthy distance from it and think about how silly you look talking about what you think.
Hmm.
Like, that's the clinch with stand up. It's like, how do people see me when I'm saying what I believe? Because I'm absurd. Like there's certain shit that about me that's causing me to have these experiences. Like, what is wrong with my personality that that all this shitty stuff happens to me. So that's a fun pursuit
Right.
figuring that
It's
out.
definitely like when you talk about something and then you hear yourself talking about it, you're like, oh, you know what? All right, I can see it from a different point of view, even though it's still you, but it just sounds better, I guess now. You know.
Yeah, and there's I think on like with Zoom you lose some of it. Like for me, I'm 6'3", and
Wow.
like when I'm on stage, it's a totally different read than here on Zoom where like everyone's just about 3 inches, 4 inches tall.
Yeah. Yeah.
So
I'm average on Zoom right now, I guess.
yeah.
Well, that's cool. That's cool. So like another popular question I like to ask is, your first time doing comedy. How did that go? If you can just walk us through
Oh my
the
gosh.
process.
I knew that you were going to ask this. I totally forgot, but I did now. I was thinking about it this morning. I actually was able to find this first set I ever wrote
Oh.
that I performed. And I was reading back through it, and like, I still agree with a lot of it. Now, when I listen to the audio of it, holy shit, I was a train wreck. Because I was like talking like this, and I was like, oh, there's so many crackheads in my neighborhood. But like, delivery is a really big part of it. And I think that being able to, like, so many people believe that, like, it takes you a decade to get good at stand up, or like, years and years.
Yeah.
And part of that is like looking back at what you used to talk about and reinvesting in it and be like, yo, I still believe that. I still believe it. And then I also have these new experiences that like I can align with my old experiences, and you build out this like really rich like world, you know? So yeah, I mean, my first joke, the first thing I ever said on stage was I was talking about how I was the only woman at the whole show. And I was like, oh, I got a penis, but I keep it in a jar on my dresser. Like, that was my, like, 25-year-old joke that I thought was funny at the time. But,
Right.
yeah. I probably shouldn't have said that. That's a tear. I shouldn't have said, oh, no, now I'm
No,
never going to be able to get a real job anymore. Fuck, now I
uh,
am going to have to be a comedian.
I think you'll be fine. I'll make sure to put it was a joke.
Yeah, put like a slide trombone in there, maybe.
Something. We'll make it. I was like, do not discredit this lady from her job. It's
Thanks,
just a
Johnny.
joke. That was kind of funny though. That was kind of funny. But so I'm guessing you don't do those kind of jokes anymore.
Oh God, what do I talk? I mean, well, it's quarantine, so
That's a popular topic right now.
yeah, like I was totally feral basically for like 3 years. I was like a nomad. Like the last thing I was doing before quarantine was living in a beer truck on the streets of Hollywood,
Did you say a
and
beer truck?
yeah, yeah, and now I live in like a multi-million-dollar mansion in the Midwest. Um,
Is it? Did you sell all the beer in the truck, or what? What happened?
I brought it with me. I thought I would be able to, yeah, I thought that I'd be able to nurse it for at least a year, but I drank it all within the first month or 2 months of quarantine. So, but yeah, a lot of, I mean, I stopped watching TV. So, like, a lot of the current events that I get are just comics' opinions about stuff. And I like
Yeah,
that. But yeah, like,
yeah.
a lot of my humor this year has been about my marriage and just why I'm like pretty much someone who should never breed, that kind of thing.
Okay. So personal stuff. All right, I like it. I
Yeah.
like it.
Yeah.
Not
Yeah.
bad. I am curious though. So how did you go from a beer truck to a mansion? I would like to know if that's all right.
Yeah, man. Well, so yeah, so like before quarantine, I started to do like digital entrepreneurship kind of stuff and building companies, and I was just popping around the country, moving to a city for a few months, find myself an apartment, fill it with free furniture from Craigslist, and then when I left, I would just let people take the stuff away. So I moved into Austin like that. I was in Eugene, Oregon. I was in LA. I was in Seattle area, and it was a lot. Like it was just going, going, going. I had a glowing eyewear company that I still own called Moon Glasses, and I was just going to crazy shows, taking tons of crazy pictures, meeting crazy people. But because I didn't have a house, like I didn't have like a base, it was just like I was just filling up with all this stuff, and I couldn't like chug it back out again. I was just like absorbing life. So in January, I decided that I was going to move back to the Midwest. My family lives in this general area, and I'd never lived in the Midwest before. And I was just home visiting for Christmas. My parents outside of Cleveland, and I decided to look for a place, and I found a house sitting opportunity the day after Christmas on a college message board for a like modernist mansion surrounded by bonsai trees in the woods, full of like
Wow.
classical instruments. So I've been here for a year, actually. And I built like a virtual comedy enterprise while living in the middle of nowhere. So
Wow, that's cool. That's wow. I should go on Craigslist more.
yeah, well, like once you realize, like, man, we live in what an interesting time we live in, or like we have the space that we can sit back and bitch about stuff because so many of us are so comfortable Like we're just at this point in capitalism where like you can have anything you want, same day, next day, and like, and a lot of people are a lot more charitable than you might think. A
Yeah.
lot of people people like to give stuff to other people because like we feel isolated and people need human connection. So like I've been traveling like the world for free and staying with strangers for like 13 years through couch surfing, and like it's just changed the way I look for opportunities. But you have to walk into the unknown and just say yes to what you're handed. And
Yeah. Yeah, definitely. I think that's the scary part. You have to just say yes. You don't know how it might turn out, but if you can take that leap, you get like all these cool experiences and stories and crazy fun stuff. So wow, that's awesome.
yeah,
I'm definitely gonna go on Craigslist and see what's around here.
yeah. Well, so it wasn't on Craigslist. I
Oh, that's right.
found this on a college message board.
Okay, so I gotta go to college. All right.
Yeah, go to a college message board. Yeah, you find the people there are typically a bit more trustworthy.
Who knew college kids would be more trustworthy?
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay, so that's so cool. You don't have the beer truck anymore?
Oh, I do. I do. It's like in the back of my parents' farm property, just waiting on a new engine, basically.
Okay.
Yeah. Oh man, it was so fun. It's like a 10-foot box truck. So like basically I bought a moving truck. I was moving from Oregon to LA because I had met a company at Coachella that wanted me to activate their brand and get their product on the shelves around mostly like Hollywood, Santa Monica, like to like West LA.
Right.
Um, so instead of renting a moving truck, I just like drove past one and saw one for sale. That basically would have cost the same to buy as it did to rent. So I moved down to LA in this like unmarked box truck full of all my stuff. And then when I got there, I just convinced the company that I was working with to sticker it with their own ads for their beer company. It was a beer company I was working for.
Oh.
So it became like a secret layer, and it had a yoga trapeze inside and like all my like pretty clothes and like a futon that folded down, but no one knew it. Well, except the meter maids. They kind of caught on, you know, and like the security guard in the Planet Fitness parking lot. Like he caught on after a while. Oh boy, was it fun though.
Wow, that sounds I mean, that's like I've heard of like, people who convert vans and live in them, but you took it beyond that. You were moving, you got the thing, you moved in there, and then on top of that, you made it into a business and you just promoting it. It's like that is wow, that's
It was
impressive.
like I feel like I was like I wanted to prove myself. Like it was so hard for me to break free. So I was a teacher. I was an art teacher and a museum teacher in Philly for like 10 years. And it was all mainstream stuff and like, oh yeah, there was a time I almost got fired from the art museum because there was a picture of me topless standing on top of a van at a protest, you know what I mean? And it was like, okay, I've got to do what the bureaucracy wants. Like as long as I'm punching the clock on a 9 to 5, I'm someone else's bitch. And that's just the way that it goes. And when I finally got up the courage to leave, I was like, all right, we're just going to spin off. We're going to take off. And like everything I thought I wanted, I'm going to try to get it all. I'm not going to say no. I'm not going to want anything. And I'm just going to say yes to whatever comes and like believe in charity of people. And I mean, it worked great. And now I'm living in a literal mansion for free, and I have like a whole sound studio in here. And like I just kind of ended up here. But like part
That's
of it's also because of my privilege, because I'm like a basically like a tall, blonde, like friendly, curious person. And like it's just my privilege. So that's kind of what I'm trying to unpack through stand up too, because like I know I wouldn't have had this opportunity if I wasn't the person that I am. And like what does that mean, and what can I teach people because of that, you know?
yeah, that makes sense. I think yeah, I don't know if I'll have as much luck as you. I'm gonna try it though, because this is like
Yeah.
this is crazy. Let's In my head, I'm just thinking like, wow, I can do so much more for so much less if I'm just like open myself up and just say, yeah, all right, cool, whatever, bring it my way, take it.
Yeah. Well, and now it's a different time now though.
Yeah,
Like
it,
We
I mean,
don't
now that
know
I'm
what's going to happen next with this shit.
now that I'm like hearing this and thinking and processing, to me, it sounds kind of like it kind of sounds like back in like the 70s in the Woodstock area. It was just like, hey, jump in my car, my van, we'll just go travel this thing. It feels like now it's like more, it's happening again, but it's not just carefree, like do whatever. It's people are benefiting from it. You have a awesome place to live at through people's generosity, and it's basically like probably oversimplifying, but somebody was like a hippie is like, yeah, you can live in here. It's cool.
Yeah. Oh, and man, I've lived in like shitty places. Like oh my God, I've lived in like probably 15, 20 different places. Nothing compares to this. Like yeah, seen it come and go, but like, yeah, like, I mean, geez, I'm thinking like, where is this podcast going to end up? But seriously, there's a huge concentration of wealth in this country. And like, the people that have it, you can just go, like, you can just find them. Because like, it's social media, right? Like,
Yeah.
we can connect with anyone directly if you try hard enough. You don't have to go through gatekeepers anymore. You can like walk right up to the opportunity you want and ask for it. And there are a lot of people who are really generous because life has served them well. Um,
Yeah,
yeah,
you
man.
definitely, you are, case in point. Like, awesome, good for you. I am my mind is blown by this. It's cool that that's happening to you right now. The other thing, like, it's cool what you're doing for comedians. Because you showed me that link, I checked out the page. Okay, the one part that really like got to me and spoke to me is that you decided to stop worrying about making yourself famous and help others, and in
Oh yeah.
turn that's actually brought you success.
Oh yeah. Well, I guess for starters, I'd say my idea of success is really fucked up now because I don't care about money. Like, I've learned to be a minimalist. I've probably made less than 10 grand this year. And like, I don't care. Right now, I don't care. I just spent a whole year, yeah, basically involved in this passion project because of I was in this position of this great opportunity of living in a mansion for a year, and I saw that there were a lot of comedians struggling. And I'm a comedian too. So like I basically just like started by making this open mic show, and it started to get really popular. And I was like, dang, like there's a lot we can do. Like COVID has turned this industry on its nose, and a lot of poets, like I consider stand-up comics to be poets. And I think that people who have a practice of writing and reflecting on the world and trying to make humor of situations, they're people who help society to heal and to move forward. And we gotta protect them. So, yeah, I like just basically overnight back in June, I decided I was gonna pull off a 24-hour comedy marathon called Comedy for International Joke Day. And we did that on July 1st. And basically, from that, a bunch of people asked me to do spin off shows from mine. We got a bunch of members on a web platform that I have continued to develop for the past 7 months. And I mean, now I'm producing like 10 weekly shows, and we're building, like, we have a whole community of comics, of hundreds of comics just out of nowhere. So, like, I'm in the middle of nowhere. But like, my social life is so rich. It's really weird. It's been great.
I mean, it's awesome. I did sign up. I checked it out. There's the pages, there's the mics. I'm looking at all the different comedians on the from what I can tell. And it's like, uh, yeah, I don't think I've heard of anything else similar. Like there's, I know there's a lot of Zoom mics and Zoom shows, but bringing it like all together into like one network.
Yeah. Oh yeah. Well, and like think about it. This year we killed mass media. I mean, of course, I also stopped watching TV, so my perspective's a little different. But like, can you remember back in like March and April, all we were hearing about was COVID. It's
Yeah.
all we were hearing about on TV. And then after that, all we were hearing about was the fucking election. And like people are like, come on, like, and I think that's when we started to realize, like, dang, there are some gatekeepers to these big mass media networks. And in a traditional sense, if you are a performer, if you are a stand-up comedian and you're trying to make it, historically, at one time or another, you're going to have to reckon with these guys, and they're going to have to tell you who to be if you want like the classical, like traditional idea of fame. But thanks to social media and thanks to like the open door of programs like Zoom and just like web development in general, like we can make a plural network of comedians and we can cross promote and help each other and not have to go through those gatekeepers anymore. And it's like so liberating. And without COVID, like this would never have happened, but we're onto something really fascinating.
I mean, definitely true. I think it'll. I think those will definitely stick around after, even if once there's live shows. Not everyone can get out and go do things. People are struggling just to make it to some of the mics now. They got jobs or whatever, and
Yeah.
being able to do a mic overseas from your living room, that's pretty cool. That's impressive. Like it's it opens you up to so many more people just everywhere,
Oh, yeah.
and that's so
Oh,
awesome.
yeah. Oh yeah, I can't imagine. I mean, I'm glad that I am in the comedy world because I cannot imagine what my quarantine would have been like if I didn't have this way to meet new people from all over the place who also had fascinating opinions and were trying to get better and were making my life happier. Like, damn, man. But everyone, it's yeah. The fact that we can connect together is really something else. And I know that these relationships that we're building now to the virtual comedy world, they will continue to mature over time. Once we make that initial connection and start to provide each other with opportunities and show up for each other and connect about what we think, damn, we're going to be unstoppable, man.
Yeah, it's gonna be crazy.
Yeah.
Also about so now just the site there. Now, how did you create the whole entire thing yourself, or
Yeah.
wow? Okay, so you did all the
Yeah, I
graphics.
created all of it. I created the whole thing. Yeah, I did. Yeah, I did. Yeah.
Oh, it's awesome. The animation, the graphics, all
Yeah.
that stuff was you.
Yeah, it was
Damn,
me. Yeah.
that's impressive. Like I was looking at, it, I'm like, this is like this is not. I was in my head like not to put anyone down, but like no comedian did this. Like this is a
I'm a
this was a
digital
professional.
nomad, bitch. Well, geez, like I said, I used to be a teacher,
Mhm.
and I was getting like stressed out. Like back in fall of 2017, I was like, dang. I had gone to school for fine arts. I was like, I don't know a single thing about the internet. I can see that people are starting to use it more. If I don't go all in trying to develop my skills in design and in like figuring out how to use an iPad and understanding how social media works, like if I don't do this now, I'm going to be so far behind because this is the future.
Yeah,
So I gave up everything I had, and like, yeah, my first company is a glowing eyewear company. You can find it, Moon Glasses, and we're gonna reboot. But like, that was my case study in like how to build a brand and like how to just figure out how animation works and stuff. And I just like if you can find a project that you love and learn, teach yourself skills around that project, like there's nothing that you can't do. Thank God I haven't been punching a clock for someone else this year. Like I bit the bullet and took zero income so that I could make this. And like yeah, it was a good 2020 for me.
yeah, that's
Yeah.
impressive. You're successful. In your way. I could not I cannot afford to quit my job and pursue comedy or any the side little projects I like. So yeah, congrats to you. Hella jealous, MVS. But
It's for everybody. Remember, it's for everybody.
yeah,
It's for everyone. And that's the thing too. Like we're a collective. We call ourselves a collective and it's open door, right? So we have shows, they're free to list, anyone can be a member. And then we're about to open up a directory where members can also list their own shows, including banners for it and sign up info, so that we can start to churn our hundreds of members through so that they can go to other shows. Because I know, like, the back end work of just producing one show and trying to find warm bodies to fill it up every week, not to mention developing talent, like, it takes hours and hours. And I just literally want to give all of this stuff I've built away to other people to use because I think that it's time that comedians came out on top for once. That would make 2021 a really good year. So let's
that
do
would be
it.
awesome. That would be
Yeah,
great.
man.
It's awesome what you're doing. It definitely gives me ideas. Because I was looking at the pages and I'm like, oh, these are some cool mics. Where's Vegas's mic though? Where's Vegas? Like, a lot of
Yeah.
comedians are moving here, and I'm like, maybe we should do more. I don't think there's anyone here in Vegas that has a Zoom mic at all.
Oh man, I know a bunch of people in Vegas who come to my shows. Actually, we were I shouldn't mention that. I won't mention the name of the person, but we were about to book a mic with a person from Vegas, but they were too busy. But we were excited for a week because we thought they were going to start a new show with us. Yeah, well, and that's what we're hoping. So the Rampantly website, rampantly.la, right now we have 100 city message boards, and we're going to start using those, and we have about 650 members now. So we're going to start like
651.
well, yeah, right, 651. You're number 651. Um, but we're very much in the virtual world, but we know that the world is opening up again. But we've all made friends, and like we're not going to give it away. Like a lot of us, we've only been socializing with stranger comedians from other cities like all year, and we are a family. We're like a really weird ass family right
Yeah.
now. But like, we have a show out of Chicago, we've got a show out of Dallas, we got a show out of New York, we got a show out of LA, we got a show out of DC, we got a show out of Cleveland. And like we believe that if we can stay strong together and keep like doing soft touches with each other each week, showing up at mics, showing up at workshops together, directing everyone to the website and promoting our own stuff through that, that like we're gonna have a nationwide, if not worldwide, hospitality network of comedians through this. You just
Yeah.
gotta keep giving to it. Yeah.
It's like I said,
Woo!
it blows my mind what it is that you're doing. I'm like, wow, this is awesome. Like I was trying to click around. I saw there's like the message boards and forums. I'm like, people got their little bios and stuff. And I'm like, this is. I think I had like actually, you know what? Yeah, the other day, 2 nights ago, I was listening to a podcast. I was listening to the Nayland podcast, and they were talking about magicians, and they have like the magicians have like their own society organization. Um, and then I guess like this website kind of reminds me like, oh, this is kind of could be like an organizations of comics and whatever.
Oh yeah. Oh yeah. Really. And talent development is a big part of it. Like I think I've noticed, so my Blue Mike show, we're in our 35th week right now. Our Red Mike show is in the 15th week. We've got a Spanglish Mike that's in its 8th week. We've got tons of other shows too, and lots of mics have been going longer than mine. But it's cool to me to see that when we do show up for each other each week at a mic, and like there's regulars, like we'll have like 8 to 10 regulars on a show that's got 30 comics, and like the comics who keep coming to that and testing their material, they're testing their material to similar people each week, and like it rotates, but like we're building a voice, and that's really powerful. And what is the point of celebrity? I believe that it's about like helping society to advance forward. It's like saying your piece so that you can help other people. And like there's no need for this administrative crap between a true artist or a true performer and the public. There's no need for it. And there doesn't have to be. Like I have never had more freedom than when I've become a self-starter and done things for myself and not had to punch a freaking clock. And like I want all comics to be able to feel that freedom and be in charge of their own futures. And I really think we can.
I really think we can too. What you're doing is a great start. It's um I was because I was asking you for like some kind of clip or something to post on my YouTube channel so it
Okay.
can be like, hey, this is the person who I interviewed. Here, watch a clip of them or watch what they're doing or whatever. I don't know. Like, um, someone I got one person who's sending me like a clip from one of their. They do a show. They make like their web show, so I'm doing posting that. So it's great when people like they're not just focused on themselves. Obviously we want to succeed, but it's great when you're not just focusing on you. Like I'm gonna succeed, but I want him to succeed and him to succeed and her to succeed, and then we'll all succeed one day. So
Right?
yeah, kudos on what you're doing. What's like the next big thing there that you're gonna do with that?
Oh, good question. So we just launched a bunch of new mics. So we've got like 2 mics a week now. We are about to open up our public directory so that Rampantly members can list their own mics. That's going to be a major thing. We're submitting our website for consideration for a international award. Who knows
Oh,
if anything will happen from that, but like we've got about a month to fine tune it and really get it up to snuff so that we can be considered for that. And then, like I said, Comedy Day is on July 1st, International Joke Day. It was a 24-hour marathon last last year with like 5 minute slots for the most part. But we have enough members now that if we give each member one 5 minute slot, we could go on for like 60 hours. And hypothetically, we could actually break a Guinness record. And a lot of people are like, you need to contact the Guinness Book and just
Y-
like tell them to audit the show.
Yeah, you
And
should. That
like,
would be so crazy.
yeah, like I'm always torn because like I really believe in grassroots stuff and I really am hesitant to like do things the way that they have ever historically been done. Like I think it's time to make new stuff. But yeah, we need to figure out how to promote our major marathons. We do them quarterly. And we're gonna do one for I don't know if I should speak this out loud, but like we're probably gonna do something for March Madness, and it may or may not be actual insanity, because
Oh,
like the idea of bracketing for that would involve local city competitions virtually, that then like condensed down to like a final four. But like yeah, don't get me started. I've got a lot on my plate, but we do convert really fast when it comes to doing marathons because we've built the web infrastructure for them, and like and it's also available if anyone else wants to do like comedy competitions or like crazy kinds of feature shows. Like we did a 6 hour marathon for New Year's Eve where we did ball drops in all four continental US time zones. And we just did a live feed for 6 hours. But now we have this on our web platform. So if any comedian wants to do a similar show, we will just clone that website and give it to them so they can do it. You know what I mean? So they can like do anything with that structure.
that's kind of awesome. That's pretty cool. Um, because I've been thinking like myself. I've been doing the podcast, recording, posting it, and you like with your website, you don't want to just stay stagnant. You got to improve and do what's next. And I was thinking like to myself, like I should maybe just do a live interview one day. Just we're talking, people are interviewing them, people are asking questions themselves they want to know.
Yeah.
So in your platform, what you're doing, you can do something like that and more for anyone. Really, it's I'm like in my head, I'm thinking of the that website, all things comedy. You know, they got a bunch of podcasts, comedians, and stuff like that, but they're big time comics.
Mm,
Versus yours is most right now. It's like if you're a comic, come here. Period.
yeah. Yeah. And if you're just comic curious.
That too. That too. Yeah.
Yeah. But yeah, like we believe like a platform, it's like a place for people to build. And that's what we want it to be like. Like we think that cross-pollination could be awesome. We know that comics in general are really into self-promotion and they're teaching themselves how to use digital tools, how to produce their own podcasts. But like when everyone's just operating in this like archaic individualist sense, you lose the opportunity to cross-promote off of each other. So like we're really trying to capture a broad audience and like just throw a broad net so that we can funnel audience in and it can go to the comics. Like damn, it would be so cool if it could like turn in to like this pluralized like TV network or something where like people just come in almost like a community radio station and like do their own live shows. Like that's what we did for the 24-hour marathon. We had 15 different hosts and they brought their own shows on. We just had one Zoom room with one continuous live feed, and when everyone's promoting it together, it just brings so much more visibility. So like if you know you have a show like that coming up and it's under this like collective label like ours, Rampantly, like if you have representation on that website and you have your podcast on that website and people can search for it, then when we do these big marathon events, people will be more likely to find you,
Yeah.
because they're all going to the website. Like, I don't know. We're just trying to make a comedy machine, man.
You are, and it's sounding like it's gonna be a powerhouse. You know, everything's there. Everyone's working together. Because you're
Yeah.
right.
Oh my God. Yeah.
You're right. When it comes to self promoting, people they're promoting their show they're on. It's much easier to promote. I guess I would your website, a network. I would say one group, promote one group. You can say, yeah, we're on there, but so's this, and everyone's throwing out that group name. So even if they don't remember the show, the podcast, whatever it was, they remember the brand,
Yeah.
and then boom.
Exactly. Exactly. And we're trying to make the brand really open. I don't want to say open source, but like anyone can use it if they house something about their show on our platform.
Mhm.
Like if you go through and look at the banners for the different shows we run, like they're all different hosts and like we're not paying them or anything ourselves, but like as entrepreneurs who are comics, like they have their own sources of income, or like they can promote their own shows, but then they just put the name Rampantly on it and people know where to find them. And like, we don't tell them what font to use, like they decide, so like there isn't the like kind of belligerent oversight that you would have with like a major network, because it's a collective effort.
Right. Right. You're just the host. You're just here. You just come on in, do what you want. But
Yeah,
yeah.
clean up
Okay.
after yourself when you're done.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Respect the rule. That's awesome. That's cool. Oh, that's so cool. Um. Now it sounds like you were into branding, um, social media stuff like that, right?
Yeah.
So what made you try comedy that first time? Like, because I'm thinking, like, in my head right now, I'm picturing you could have had like this very successful uh brand management career lifestyle,
Yeah. I've
and
always been
then
on the fringe.
mm,
Like that's like I like to be on the outside looking in.
okay,
Like
well,
when
that's
you
good.
like I yeah, that's more or less it. And it's been like that forever. For such a long time. Like even when I was a teacher and I was working I worked at the Philadelphia Museum of Art, and that's where I first got to know like public school kids from Philly. And like these are kids who were like many of them really traumatized by school. Hated school. Sucked at school. The school system wasn't serving them. They had a really shitty relationship with the idea of learning. But you get them out of their classroom and into an art museum, and like it just changes the way they think about learning. Like, and being on the fringe and being able to see like, oh, these are some of the reasons that kids feel this way about school, or like these are some of the reasons people feel this way about X, this part of society. Like I'm not going to engage with that, I'm going to be over here just like observing it and trying to like build the equation, like put the pieces together so that I can help, you know
Yeah, I
yeah.
know that's yeah. Okay, all right. I see what you're saying.
Yeah.
Um,
Oh, and I also, so I have my friend who first really inspired me to go up on stage and do comedy is now the face of one of the top viral brands in the world this past year. Yeah, that was kind of how it started. I had a couch surfer. His name's James Schrader. He's the face of Dr. Squatch soap. Have you ever seen those commercials?
I saw it the other day actually, and I was on Instagram and I'm looking at it. I'm like, this is so wow, this is actually I'm about to buy those, so they sound pretty interesting.
Yeah.
But so wow, so that person, the doctor himself, is
The doctor. Yeah, he was the like the rat or like the promotional person for that. But so basically it was a friend who was a couch surfer like me, who I met 8 or 9 years ago, stayed with me. We just like bullshitted and did comedy. He was doing stand up. And since then, I mean, geez, if I would have started comedy back then, like real hardcore, I don't know where I'd be today. Like he's already been voted the funniest person in San Diego 2 years in a row. And now, yeah, he has like the top one of the top five most viewed Instagram commercial, or sorry, like YouTube whatever commercials ever.
yeah, dang,
He's still a
wow.
comedian. It's cool to like try to aspire toward it and be like, damn man, like I should have doubled down like you were doing back in 2012. So now we're just in totally different ball games, but that's cool. Like we all
Yeah.
rub off on each other eventually.
Yeah, I mean, well, you're doing your thing now, and this could be your catapult. Next thing you
Yeah.
know, we're like you're on some magazine like Rampantly, and then how you changed the online comedy game, and you and Dr. Squatch on there with a brand new set, Rapidly.
Yeah.
Yeah, no,
Yeah.
that's interesting. Like it's crazy. Like what kind of people you meet just doing comedy, whether it's fans or other comics and their stories and stuff. And I don't think I've ever heard anyone not meet someone cool through comedy, like interestingly cool.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, the
Oh
doctor
yeah.
himself.
The doc. Well, he's not. Okay, he's not the doctor. He's like the guy with the beautiful beard. Like he's like the beautiful test subject of this brand, I guess you could say. The
Well,
doctor.
I'll refer to him as the doctor because I don't know who the real doctor is, but he's
Yeah.
the face.
Yeah.
So that's awesome. That's cool. That's cool. All right, and now so now that you're back in comedy, what's the difference from when you started? Because you basically started twice, so to say.
Yeah.
What was different from the very first time to the second time, and what was the same?
I I think when I first started comedy, I did it because I thought that I wanted people to see how smart I was. It's like one of those things. It's like one of those, like, a lot of times when people get started, it's like, oh, I see these celebrities. I could do that.
Mm,
Or like, you wait till you hear what I think. Like,
all right.
that's definitely when I was like 25, 24, 25, getting started. That's what I thought.
Yeah, gotcha. You were like, I got this. Hold my bag. I can do this too. Watch me.
Right. Oh my God. Was I ever wrong? And I think after that, it was more like I need to make sense of things. And it's going to take a lot of thinking to make sense of things. And then, like, I realized that once you do learn the truth, it sets you free. And then, if you can find a funny way to explain it, it can help set other people free too in certain ways and like
Yeah.
loosen people up. And I think like people need to be loose for change to happen. So, yeah, it's like definitely still self-serving now, but like I really have no interest in like being famous. Like I really enjoy producing and like of course, like everyone would love to do like a Netflix special, and like maybe someday. But yeah, and it also keeps you fresh. Like to have to make content that can be relevant enough that it can propel you to being someone who people know about, like you have to keep your ear to the ground and see you have to know what's going on in the world, and you have to understand how people feel about it and how you feel about it and how the way you feel relates to the way that they feel relates to the truth of the situation. Like a lot of it is just doing math, doing a lot of math, and then like jazzing it up a little bit.
Yeah, definitely jazzing. No, that makes you're right. People gotta feel comfortable with what you're saying, and it's easier if it's the truth because you know you already believe it. So
Oh
you don't
yeah.
gotta lie to yourself, and then you're comfortable, they're comfortable, and like, I get this. I can totally relate. I can just laugh. I don't gotta be in my
Oh yeah.
head. Just
Oh yeah. Like being able, like I love to think to like, okay, like even something as simple as like when you're in the line at the grocery store and you're checking out and there's a cashier there, if you can say something to make them laugh, it's you telling them that you understand. Like to be able to get on someone else's level in a way that makes them loosen up, like it shows that like you know what's going on and you see them and you can serve them. Like laughter, like when you can make someone laugh, you're like giving them a product. I hate to say it. But like you're doing it, well, you're not giving them a product, you're doing them a service.
yeah.
And you have to be able to stand in someone's shoes to be able to make them laugh, I think.
No, that's definitely true. Like they say, there's a I forget the saying now, but like walking in a mile in someone's shoe, and when you do comedy, you're showing that mile to everyone. They're like, oh, that's it's easy to bond with people over comedy because everyone has those moments that suck, and a lot of comedy is talking about those moments that suck. And when you reflect on it, like it's kind of funny
Yeah.
and connecting with people, like you say, even at the grocery store, making some little joke about something like, you're right, that's funny. Yeah, I do. Yeah, yeah. It's a very positive feeling.
Yeah. Yeah. And we need more positive feelings, damn it. Like real ones.
I totally agree. I totally agree. I'm
Yeah.
glad. I'm glad you're still doing comedy.
Thanks.
Hopefully you don't quit and come back a third time.
Ha ha ha.
Well, then again, third time's a charm. So maybe I don't know.
We shall
Hmm.
see. I mean, I can't stop now. Oh my God. I'm in Zoom rooms doing shows like 20, 25 hours a week. And that's just on air. And
Dang.
then there's all the back end stuff. And like soon, soon the real world's going to open up. And like we all want to go on a cruise ship together. It would be, I think it would be great if we could like package like a show with like lots and lots of different comics because like we've never met. Like I mean, Jesus Christ, it could be a freaking reality show if the right person could pitch it.
It really could. I
You
mean, it
know?
could be like. It could be like one of those EDC carnivals stuff on cruises, but of comedy, a comedy festival on the sea.
Yeah.
Carnivals comedy cruise. Wow,
Yeah.
that's interesting. That'd be pretty dope. No, that'd be exciting. Yeah, that'd be great. I'd like to join that if that happened.
Yeah, man.
Yeah. All right. Well, I don't know how long we've been recording. This is only my second time doing the Zoom, and I'm still learning
Cool.
how to put it together because yeah, it's a
You're
lot.
doing a good
This
job.
is a lot more work than I ever thought it was going to be, and I'm just doing an interview with one person. I can't imagine what it's like running a room with 20, 40 comics just waiting.
Oh my gosh, it is so much freaking fun. It's so fun. Hey, and seriously, if you ever want to run a show, let me know because we built the infrastructure. All you have to do is give us like a banner and a show description, and comics will just sign up for your show. And then I built an app where you just get the list and it has all the info and you can communicate with everyone really easily. It's like poof. So,
I mean,
uh,
honestly, it's on my next things to think. It's on my list of next things to try. Because I really thought about it. Like I don't think anyone in Vegas has a Zoom mic at all, which a lot of comics are moving to Vegas.
let me
So
see. I'm really
feel
curious.
like there should be one. Maybe I just haven't seen it if there is one.
I bet there is one. I'm like, spreadsheets.
Like I got
I
this. I
have
know.
this information. Let's see. Cities. Let's go to Las Vegas and see what's there. Las Vegas. There is. Oh, no. No, there's nothing. There's no Mike hosts that
Boom.
I know of, but that doesn't mean there
Boom.
are none.
I'm gonna start working on it.
Do it.
Goals. Goals. All right. So here's my last and final question. Now, because like I mentioned to you, this podcast is for any newbie comedian or anyone who's thinking about doing comedy or anyone who loves comedy but wants to know like the backstories of what goes on behind the scene. You know what happens when they're not on stage telling a joke.
Uh huh.
This is what it is because I knew nothing about comedy when I started. I didn't know about any open mics. I didn't know where to find them. I didn't know what was going on in my city until I started doing it. And then I found out, wow, there's a lot.
Yeah.
So a lot of what you said is I know it's going to be beneficial to some of these new comics out here. But what's one piece of advice you could give yourself back then that you know now?
Mm. Oh. Listen to the crowd. Like, show up with your toolbox. Don't try to script what you're going to say. Don't. Don't do it. Know what you believe and know what you want to talk about and talk around the subjects you want to talk about. Like, you got to leave room for discovery. There are funnies that you'll make on stage that could never be planned, and you have to give yourself space for that. It's okay. And like sometimes you're the funniest when you literally fail. So get ready, baby. Yeah.
Wow, I've never heard that. That's really interesting because you're you're right. Like I've done some sets and I practiced because it's new. I want to make sure I tune my jokes and I sound scripted. And you're right. I've learned that sometimes like I blank out and then I gotta self recover and then I somehow find something that was funny or yeah, I like that. I like that to keep it loose. Keep it loose.
Keep it loose, baby. Yeah.
Well, awesome. Thank you for being on here. Do you have anything you want to plug? Any shows? Anything?
Haha. So Monday nights at 8:30 p.m. Eastern, we have the Big D. It's a broken relationships mic out of Chicago. You can register for that at www.rampantly.la. On Tuesday nights, we have Bromitas Spanglish mic, Spanish and English, with 3 hosts out of New York and Oakland. That's at 8 p.m. Eastern. You can register for that on the site too. Then I host Blue Mic on Tuesday nights at 10 p.m. Eastern. That's a dirty joke show. Blue comedy. Stuff that is like racy that you don't know you should try anywhere else. So yeah, you can also register for that on the Rampantly website. And we've got tons of shows. I can't plug all of them, but yeah, you should head to rampantly.la and sign up and come to a show.
Awesome. Thank you for being here. I hope everyone learned something here. Go check out Rampantly, and I'll hit you up about a mic sometime.
Yeah.
All right. Thank you. Goodbye, everyone.
Bye.
Wait.
Nice work. Oops.
Thank you.
Sorry.
I just forgot to hit stop record. Hey, thanks for sticking around for the show. Be sure to like, comment, subscribe, follow us on social media, all that good stuff. Until next time, later.